The air in the rear palace had changed. It was no longer perfumed with flowers, sweet and cloying like honey, but thick with fear, silent. Whispers slithered through the halls like snakes. The eunuch with access to the poisoned tea, the one man who could have killed Lord Fuhido, had disappeared like smoke. Not all clues come from words, some from silence. For instance, the cook had said he prepared green tea for Lord Buddha, but not for Lady Gru, yet when Malmo entered the gardens, she found only one set of tea stains on the stone table, 2 cups. It was the young page Heisi, his usually bright eyes dark with anger. On the ground lay a charred scroll, its edges blackened, the writing within reduced to ashes. Without another word, he turned and fled into the night, disappearing into the shadows. Was the eunuch lying? Did he really have nothing to do with the missing scroll, with Lord Buddha? With the poisoning? Mamo thought back to his fearful face, his trembling hands. Was this act, this whole escape, merely a desperate bid to save himself? But even in its ruined state, the scroll was recognizable. It was the list of names. The one the eunuch had compiled for Lord Buddha, containing the names of those whose favors the Lord had bought with poison, and now it was destroyed. Had the eunuch really confessed? How could you do this to him? He cried. He was kind to teach me, to take me under his wing, to trust me with his secret. And now you just throw it away. I had no choice, the eunuch whispered, his voice cracking. There was no other way. Is that so? Heisi challenged. Then why leave the palace? Why flee when we could have vanished together? Because, the eunuch choked out, because I couldn't bear it, I couldn't watch. And what is it you can't bear to watch? Then she noticed something else. The cook had been sweating. Beads of perspiration trickled down his forehead, leaving fresh tracks in the flour dust. He was nervous about something, but what? Did he know more than he was saying? Perhaps, even if it meant facing the wrath of the palace, the conspiracy, the secrets, none of it mattered. If she could save just one life, if she could expose the plot and bring the real poisoner to justice, then she would have found her purpose. Or had he? Malmo had names, clues. At this hour, the servants would be washing the bedding and robes of the inner court. She paused by a pile of freshly laundered garments, soft and rustling like silk. And there, nestled among the folds of a purple robe, she saw a scrap of paper, a matchbook cover, from the imperial palace. This was the eunuch's job. To deliver clean robes to the emperor and collect the soiled ones for laundry. But why would he bring an extra matchbook? Unless he was trying to start a fire. Was he planning to burn the evidence or set a trap? And if she were to follow the trail of ashes, would it lead to the truth? A trail he had to have slipped up somewhere. She just had to find his weakness. She began with the servant quarters, questioning quietly, observing. Malmo thanked the cook and strolled through the palace gardens, her destination, the laundry yard. But first she needed to find the eunuch. In the distance, she spotted a small flame, just a flicker, but enough to draw her attention. As she hurried toward the light, she heard voices. The eunuch, he was arguing with someone. And from behind the screen, she saw his hunched shadow, his hands shaking. The sight made her heart clench. Whoever was with him must have threatened him. But who? And why? As she crept closer, straining to hear their words, the answer struck her like a bolt of lightning. The eunuch flinched. Then, slowly, as if pushed by an invisible force, he stepped aside. He revealed a horrifying sight behind him. As Malmo watched, Heisi snatched the scroll, his face contorted with grief and rage. Suddenly, a new resolve hardened her features. She would find the truth.